We've got another quarterback off the board. My number 3 quarterback in this draft, Anthony Richardson, is the pick for the Indianapolis Colts. The AFC South is cooking right now for quarterbacks. A lot of young dudes are going to be playing in the AFC South. And here to react with us is host of Bleav in Colts, Lawrence Owen. Lawrence, you sounded pretty juiced up about the opportunity we've got here for Indianapolis getting Anthony Richardson. I've said this before, and I said this on every radio hit that I did. I think this is perfect for Shane Steichen's offense. Your thoughts on this being the quarterback of the future for the Indianapolis Colts?
Well, I think it fits in a lot of different ways. Number one, Ballard loves just measurables, right? You know, big guys, long arms, talent, strength, speed, all this stuff. It fits every mold that Chris Ballard likes. Obviously, this guy's got a cannon for an arm. Incredibly athletic, kind of has a lot of, you know, in that new NFL that you're looking at with mobility and stuff of that nature. I think that's going to work out great. Is he a day one starter? That has yet to be seen. Obviously, he's limited in the amount of snaps he's had in college, let alone at the NFL level. He needs to learn a lot. But with Gardner Minshew now under with Frank Steichen, they know each other very well, being that, they were with the Eagles, both of them together last year. I think he'd be able to run this offense while Richardson develops underneath all these coaches that this Indianapolis Colts team has to really get Richardson up to that NFL speed, the NFL level, and be able that way when he comes onto the field for the first time, he can come out running, so to speak. So we'll see what happens. I'm really excited. I think a lot of Colts fans are really excited for this Anthony Richardson, this pick. Obviously, I think it was between him and Will Levis. Mm-hmm. Most people thought that. Then the trade happened, and we were like, "Oh no," So, but yeah, definitely, this is an interesting pick, and it may not affect the Colts week 1, but I think long-term, this could be the answer that a lot of Colts fans were hoping for.
Joe, you know how I feel about it. I mean, look, we've talked about this at nauseum. Okay?
You're a big fan of Anthony Richardson.
Okay, shut your mouth. But, I mean, and Lawrence, I don't mean this in a wrong way, but he's got a lot that he has to work on, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I know that you say that, sit behind somebody for a while. Joe, in my opinion, he could sit behind somebody for a year and it would do him a lot of beneficial things. Look, it's only recent history that guys have had to come in right now and start. I think Will Levis, don't put the pressure on him, but does Chris Ballard start feeling a little heat underneath his seat? If this pick doesn't go right, if this draft doesn't go right, if they start losing this upcoming season, I don't know. But in reference to Anthony Richardson, I think you got a project, and you better pray to God that you hit, because we've seen him in the SEC make some really bad decisions at really bad times. Can he start overcoming that? Joe, the one thing that I told you like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You love him as a human being. The question is how quickly can he learn to the NFL when it took him a little time to learn to the SEC? So that's my biggest question for him. We know that he has, as you love the word, Joe, traits, but nevertheless, if he puts it all together, he's going to be a potential future Hall of Famer if he can just put every single piece that he has together.
Lawrence, I think you can agree with me on this, but I really think that this was the perfect destination for him outside of maybe if he went somewhere where he could sit. And you talked about Steichen. Like, I think the fact that Jalen Hurts last year, the way that he was utilized, there was a lot of quarterback runs, a lot of read option, big, strong kid, strong runner. We all see the videos of him doing those deadlifts. Now you got a guy who's bigger, stronger, and faster to run the football with. The way that I look at this, and I think the reason why this works, is that I understand the notion of give him some time before you play him, and Gardner Minshew creates that barrier. But, man, I say get him out there as soon as possible like you did with Josh Allen. Run the football with him. Let him go out there and make mistakes. You're not going to win a ton next year if things start getting off track early on. Let him go make mistakes and let him get acclimated. And the best way you can do that is run the ball often. He's got the frame to take those hits. And again, Lawrence, I'm sure you could kind of agree with me on that sentiment that he could work out early on in his rookie year.
Well, I mean, it's possible. Absolutely. We're going to obviously, through the training camp, preseason, stuff like that, we're going to get a lot better idea on whether or not Richardson is going to start week 1 or not. Mm-hmm. you're right. I think that of all the teams in the NFL, the Colts probably are the best team for him to fall to come on, because he has a big support group around him, not just in the coaches, but in the players around him as well. Quarterback's best friend's a good running game. I mean, Jonathan Taylor's there, right? We got a very good 3 sets at the offensive line. You saw the Colts offensive line start to play much better towards the end of the year last year. So, and then he's got some weapons to work with, a few out there. We got a bunch of second-round picks at wide receiver that he could throw to, and he's got monsters at tight end, young, high-talent guys at tight end that he could utilize as well. You know, this guy Jelani Woods, who's like a tree out there. You just throw it up there, and the branches will come down with it. So, yeah, I think it is a good situation for him. Again, though, I understand Blake in that aspect that, you know, he does have a lot to learn. He's got a lot on his plate that he's going to have to get acclimated to. And if he shows signs that he can start week 1, great. But if he doesn't, again, we have Gardner Minshew there. It's fine. I'm okay either way. You know, I'm okay letting him sit. I'm okay starting him week 1. It just depends upon the situation and where his head at when it comes September.
Joe, the last thing for me, Mitchell Trubisky is the only other guy that started 13 games that got drafted in the first round over the last 20 years. So just throwing that out there.
He's more talented than Mitch Trubisky. Come on now. We gotta at least say that.
I'm just throwing the stat out there for our listeners. Thank you so much, Mr. Swirly Hair. Okay. All right. Well,
Lawrence, I really appreciate you taking the time. Folks, make sure you check out Bleav in Colts, and we'll see what the Colts do the rest of this draft.